Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, everybody, we are back, and I am joined by the one and only Miss Candace Plattor. Candace, so nice to have you back.
Hi, KC. Hi, everyone.
Candace, for people who don't know, tell us about the work that you do. And there's the butterfly in the back, as always. That was I love how you explained that last week. But again, tell us about yourself, about your business, and then I got some questions for you, my friend.
Yeah. Yes, I am an addictions therapist, and I work specifically, primarily with the families of people who are struggling with addiction, because there's a lot of help out there for people who are struggling with addiction, especially if it's alcohol and drugs, those kinds of mind-altering addictions. But there's so little help out there for the families who are suffering right along with them and have no idea how to handle this horrific situation they find themselves in. So that's what I do. I'm in private practice in Vancouver, Canada, one of the most beautiful places in the world. Come and visit. And we do all of I have a team of counselors who work with me, and we do all of our sessions on Zoom, which means that we can see anyone anywhere in the world. As long as you speak English, we can work with you. So if you're needing some help, we offer a free 30-minute consultation, no obligation or strings attached, and we'll see whether we're fit to work together.
Perfect. And I want the whole audience to know something. You guys mark it on your calendar because it's the same time every week. Every Friday at 3:00 Eastern time, you can see the show. You can see the Candace Plattor show with myself. That's every Friday at 3:00 Eastern Standard Time. Is it 3:00 in Canada right now?
It's 3:00 in Canada on Eastern time. For me, it's noon because I'm on Pacific time.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha. Okay, it's a big place. Okay, but 3:00 Eastern, Candace Plattor show every Friday. Just want you guys to know that. So if you wanted to use instant feedback, if you want to call in, and that number to call in, you can call 631-205-6568. 631-205-6568. If you have a question for Candace, you can do that, or get us on the instant feedback and give me your name, where you're from, and if you're bashful. In this case, it's probably best to say anonymous, right?
If you're not comfortable giving your name, which is totally understandable, then just list yourself as anonymous, and that's just fine.
Okay. Well, I kind of wanted to take today to kind of take inventory, as we say, because you've taught us a lot. You've brought up a lot of ideas, and your book. Let's just get that out there first. The book is available, and it's helping a lot of people. Tell us, please, about the book.
Yes, the book is called Loving an Addict, Loving Yourself: The Top 10 Survival Tips for Loving Someone with an Addiction. It's an award-winning book, which very much surprised me, because I am 35 years clean and sober now, but thank you, I spent a lot of years in active addiction. And when you're an addict, you don't think you're ever going to do anything that's going to help the world. So just for listeners, I may have to clear my throat every once in a while, but I'm fine.
If you want to do that now, I can tell about the butterfly in the back, because it's a sure. Great analogy of what you do, because you say that that it looks like a bug when it starts. The caterpillar starts with a caterpillar, and that in a way is like the addict, right? But once you go through that cocooning stage, and you're out in the elements and stuff, you come out.
You sort of sit in your own bug juice, and you're in recovery. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why you see butterflies all over Miss Plattor's place, all over here. It's become a thing. And also that goes with that book, because you got kind of like a workbook too type thing that goes along.
Yes. Hang on, I'm just going to clear my throat here.
Okay. We're talking with Candace Plattor, addiction therapist and CEO.
Hopefully that will
owner
help.
Of Love with Boundaries.
Love with Boundaries. Here's the workbook. I hate when this happens.
You want to grab a water real fast? I can vent.
Yeah.
Want to do that? Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah,
so
grab a sip of water.
yeah, so guys, Candace Plattor helped so many people, and she created this one model that we're going to talk to later. But she got the book right now, so let's hear about that.
So this is the workbook that goes along with Loving an Addict, and you can see the same butterfly on those two books as well, because butterflies are very special to me. I feel like I was a caterpillar for a very long time, got no respect, didn't respect myself at all, and then, you know, did the work that I needed to do on myself. I still do it, it's continuous, and have emerged as a butterfly most days, not all days, but most days. And life is so much better here.
Nice, nice.
So, the addict can change. I am living proof that addicts can change. And as the loved ones, you're so important to this equation. I don't know if you know how important you are, but you are so important. You're vital, and you can change too. You can change some of the things you've been doing so that the addict has a fighting chance of recovering.
And I'm glad that you said that, because one of the points I wanted to reiterate and to get you just to comment on is something that you've told us, that um, there's a difference between enabling and helping. Maybe you can touch on that, because that's one of the points that you drove home quite accurately, I believe.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's, to me, that's the underpinning of the work that I do with families, because so many families are enabling. They don't mean to, but they don't know what else to do. So they're enabling and they're not really helping. The very kind of quick and dirty definition that I like for enabling is when you're doing something for somebody else when they could be doing that for themselves and actually should be doing that for themselves. So, some of the examples that I use may not seem that important, but when you stack them up, they become important. So something like doing somebody's laundry for them, paying somebody's rent, cooking somebody's meals, giving them money so that they don't have to work, even when you know where that money is going to go to. You know it's going to go to their addiction. You give them money anyway. And we can talk later about why you've been doing this, but those are enabling behaviors. The helping behaviors are when you start to believe in somebody else's resiliency, when most families have set the bar way too low for the addict. They kind of argue for the addict's limitations. And by the way, when I use the word addict, I'm an addict. I don't mean any disrespect
Right.
by that
Of course.
term.
Of course.
Um, but when you set the bar too low and you argue for an addict's limitations, you say things like, well, he's got anxiety or she's got depression, and there's nothing that we can do about that, and she can't work because of that, and all of that can change. I'm here to tell you that all of that can change.
Mhm.
And so we need to start raising the bar for the addict so that it can change.
Yeah.
So you need to start doing the helping behaviors, like if we use, that simple example of doing somebody's laundry, you stop doing their laundry. What you do is you teach them how to put the laundry in the washing machine, how much detergent to use, how to press the start button, you know, and it's that story about, instead of giving a man a fish, you teach him how to fish,
Right.
and he starts feeling better about himself because he caught the fish.
Right.
So that's the difference.
And you're so adamant about this. You even created this whole different idea in this realm. You call it the choice model.
I do. Yep. Because, there's a lot of different schools of thought about addiction. And, in 12-step programs, for example, they see addiction as a medical disease. They believe that because there's brain involvement. And as I've said to you before, Casey, there's brain involvement when I do this with my finger,
Yeah.
right? There's brain involvement no matter what we do. That's how we're wired. Definitely, there's brain involvement in addiction. Of course, it changes the chemistry of the brain, especially if it's a mind altering addiction. Um, but and there are other schools of thought about addiction, like do you learn it at home, and nurture versus nature, but even if you want to see it as a disease, like I have a disease, I have Crohn's disease, which I've had for almost 50 years now.
It's not a choice.
That is not a choice. I cannot get rid of Crohn's. I can make it better by taking better care of myself, which is what I do.
Yeah.
But I can't seem to get rid of it completely. There's no known cure for it. But you can do that with addiction. All that you have to do with addiction is stop using the addiction and do the inner work. I don't want to minimize it and make it sound easy. It's not easy, but it's simple. And all you have to do is stop using and do the work that it takes to stay stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Got you. And that's a choice model.
Right. Well, even if you want to see it as a disease, I mean, to me, something like Crohn's and addiction are very different.
Right.
Right. Even if you want to see it as a disease, as millions of people do, it's okay as long as you understand that underneath that disease is a choice that people make every day to either use the addiction or not use the addiction. And at 35 years clean, and I've never relapsed, even though I've had occasion to, I know that everybody who's like me that's in some kind of active recovery, we all know that every day we're making a choice to stay clean. I don't make that choice consciously every day anymore because I don't need to sit down and say, okay, today I'm not going to use. That's my choice, because I'm just not going to use, But all of us know that we're making the choice not to use, regardless of what you call the addiction. It doesn't matter what word you use to describe it, as long as you know that you're making the choice to either stay in active addiction or go into recovery. And I just want to say one other thing about that. Most, I would say all, like 99.999% of addicts in active addiction they know that their lives are a mess. Mm. They know what they're doing to themselves. And on some level, they know what they're doing to you, but they don't care because their priority is addiction.
Yeah.
When they go into recovery, their priorities change. But they know. I remember I knew what I was doing to myself. I didn't know how to come out of it,
right,
but I knew what I was doing.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I was making a choice.
Yep. Yeah. Another thing that I want to bring up is another idea that you brought to us, and I think it's well worth repeating. Is you said that you can't control or fix another person, so stop trying.
Stop trying. Yep. That's the one of the tips in this book.
Oh, it's in the book.
And,
okay.
Yeah, it's tip number 3 if you have the book or want to get it.
Okay.
And in the book, what I do is I use quotes from other people, other fairly famous people, quotes that I like. And the quote for that tip comes from Robert Heinlein, who wrote the book Stranger in a Strange Land.
Oh.
He was an amazing science fiction writer, and that's probably one of my favorite books because I always felt like a stranger in a strange land, and I sometimes still do. Like what is happening in this world? But his quote is, "Never try to teach a pig to sing. It's a waste of your time, and it annoys the pig." So, you're not going to be able to make your addict stop using. We can't force anybody else to do something we want them to do because it's a planet of free will and we don't have control over other people, even though we like to think we do. We're basically taught that we do. We don't really. What we can do, and this is what we need to do as loved ones, this is your job. Your job is to make it less comfortable for the addict to stay in active addiction. You want your addict to recover. You love your addict. You want a better life for that person. You don't want to do things that are going to keep them stuck in addiction. So learning how to make that more uncomfortable for them is, I think, the most loving thing you can do for them.
Mm.
And at Love with Boundaries, we show you how to do that because they don't like that. They don't want that. They want you to keep enabling them, but that's not a loving act. And an enabled addict doesn't recover because everything is being done for them. Why should they do any hard work? Why not just stay addicted?
Right.
So you want to do the things that are going to get them out of that, and we will help you discover what those are. We'll help you get comfortable with your own boundaries around that, and everything is going to start to shift.
Awesome.
That's what happens.
Awesome. One other idea that you gave us, and it must be a very important thing to know when you're going through this, is to stop blaming other people and become willing to look at yourself. How important is that one?
Oh, so important. And it's maybe the hardest one to wrap your head around. Probably even harder than you can't control or fix another person, so stop trying.
Yeah.
Because loved ones need to look at what they've been doing. And it isn't that you've been deliberately trying to hurt anyone. You haven't known what to do. There hasn't been somebody like me saying to you, what are you doing? Let's change this. Why are you doing this? and so many loved ones, I like to ask what I call the magic question. I didn't make that up, but somebody called it that, and I think it's a great name for it. The question is, if you didn't have this situation in your life, what would your life be like? And so I ask that question sometimes to my clients, and sometimes, most of the time, people will say, oh, if they would just stop using, if they would just get into recovery, everything would be better. So Candace, fix my addict. Get that done.
Yeah.
The ones who have thought about this for a bit, the ones who are maybe being just a tad more honest. Tad is a Canadian term, by the way.
Okay, I got you.
Have been, a little more honest. They say to me, if I didn't have this situation in my life, I'm not even sure what I would do with myself. Because they're so invested, they're so enmeshed in this. They've spent so many years worrying about the addict and trying to fix it and make it okay, that their own lives have kind of been put on the backseat. And so the ones who answer that way, we're kind of halfway there.
Yeah.
The ones who say, Candace, I want you to fix my addict. Once that's done, everything's going to be 100% great. No, it never works that way. And, I have a trainer physical trainer who, when she wants me to lift something heavy, and I say, it's too heavy for me. And she says, she says, sorry, not sorry. And so I'm going to say the same to you. If it's hard for you to look at yourself and what you've been doing, how you've been contributing to the addict staying in addiction, I'm going to say to you, sorry, not sorry. It's something you need to do.
Yeah.
You haven't caused the addict's addiction. You can't have caused the addict's addiction. That's impossible, no matter what you've done or not done, because you can't make another person's choices for them. This is important for you to understand. You haven't caused it, and you can't stop it. Those are the jobs of the addict. But what you've been doing is you've been contributing to the addict staying stuck.
Yeah.
Let's change that. And part of that is going to be you looking at yourself, what you've been doing inadvertently, and do the things that are going to make it better.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's hard to look at yourself. It's hard to see your fault, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But any addict in recovery, like myself, there are millions of us all over the world. We know that that's exactly what we have to do. We have to look at ourselves. The addict you love needs to look at himself, herself, and you need to do the same. If you're asking and expecting an addict to make changes and you're not willing to do the same, sorry, not
Not
sorry.
sorry.
Like it's just not going to work that way.
Okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
a great topic right there. Another one that you gave to us, and I think people will love to hear what you have to say about this. How about when you told us self-care does not equal selfish?
Boy, does it not ever. Yeah. Selfish does not equal selfish. Self-care does not equal selfish. That's tip number 8, if you've got the book.
Okay.
And it's actually the biggest chapter in the book because self-care is so important. And over the years, I've kind of become a self-care queen. I take care of myself. And if somebody else doesn't like that, it's too bad for them now.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Because if I don't take care of myself, guess who pays for that? Me. The other guy doesn't wear that. The guy who doesn't want me to take care of myself doesn't wear that. I wear that.
Right.
So here's the difference between self-care and selfish. So when a person is selfish, and see if this reminds you of anyone as I say it,
Sure.
because it probably will. A person who's actually selfish wants what they want when they want it right now. I was going to put an expletive in there. They want it right now,
Yeah.
and they'll step on whoever they need to get it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. That's my priority. That's what I want. I'm going to get it, hell or high water. That's selfish. And that's what addicts do who are still in active addiction. And you know that because you either live with them or you try to have dinner with them or you try to stay connected to them, and you know that that's what they're like.
Yeah.
Until they start to look at themselves and care about somebody else and turn their eyeballs a little bit more outward.
Mm-hmm.
Self-care is about respecting yourself enough to take good care of yourself. You deserve it. You always have. And one of the things that people talk about a lot is self-love. I have a little bit of trouble with that term,
Why?
self-love, because I think we're missing a step. When you come from a place of not feeling very good about yourself and you're told, "Oh, you have to love yourself. You have to practice self-love." I think we need to first get to self-like.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I think we have to move a little slower because it's kind of like asking somebody to jump over a barn or something, right? It's too hard.
Right.
But self-like, and as you start to look at the things about yourself that maybe you can like about yourself, and there are going to be things like that, and we'll help you see them, um, then your self-respect is going to grow. It's going to increase, and self-respect is the most important thing that we have or don't have, I think, in my opinion. It doesn't matter how much money you have if you don't respect yourself, your life is not good.
Right.
Nothing matters unless you care about yourself. Self-care is so important. So what I like to say is that self-care does not equal selfish, but self-care equals self-ish with a hyphen.
With the hyphen. All right.
Self-ish.
Well, these are all amazing, and I'm glad that we had this talk. So to clear up a lot of these, helped a lot of people. So if you're feeling any of that stuff and any of that stuff made sense, where can people get a hold of you? And let me give you the last word. I always love talking to you. You're great on the air. So let me give you the end here.
Okay, well, people can get in touch with me and my team at lovewithboundaries.com because we have to love with boundaries, especially if we're dealing with addicts and especially if you want your own self-respect. You have to love with boundaries. It doesn't work any other way. So lovewithboundaries.com. And if you go on the website, you will see on every page, I think it's at the top, trying to see it, top left-hand side of every page, you'll see a link for a questionnaire. If you want to have our free 30-minute consultation to see whether we're a fit for each other and how we work and how we can help you and what's going on for you, just click that link, fill in our questionnaire. It's not a long one. It's a fairly short one, gets to the point. And as soon as we get it, we're going to get in touch with you. And I have an amazing intake specialist who I just love. Her name is Christine. She's fantastic. And Christine is going to get in touch with you, and you're going to have that call with her. And then we'll see whether we move forward or not. She's such a warm, lovely person. You'll enjoy talking to her. So fill in the questionnaire, send it to us, and we'll go from there. And if you want to work with us, we will start you immediately, as soon as possible, because addiction just doesn't wait another week.
Right. Right.
Addiction is killing people.
Yeah. Guys, Candace Plattor, amazing guest, doing amazing work. Thank you so much. I want you to have a great weekend, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say next, because this has been a great show. And thank you to everyone who wrote in. I'm sorry I didn't get to you, but I will. Candace Plattor, thank you again, and we'll be right back.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.